Hey guys, and welcome to this video. I think should be able to hear me now. So today I am going to talk about how to recognize if you are living your life from fear. If you are running your whole life is all about running away from fear, and you're not. When you're running from fear, guess what? You're not going for your passion. You're not moving in the direction that you desire. You're just spending all your time focusing on not going where you don't want to go. So I'm going to go through 8 signs that this might be something that you're doing, and I'm going to talk about some tips to overcome this and how to start living from a place of passion and power. So, sign number one that you are living from a place of fear. You might find yourself striving and never arriving. You've got this disease, where you're always afraid of criticism. You've got this perfectionist mask, you might be pushing for things to happen, but you always feel disappointed, and you're not really going for your possible desires. You just got everyone thinks everything is perfect, but deep down inside, it's not really like that. Sign number two, you say yes when actually you mean no. So this is kind of, you want to please people, you don't want to let people down, so you just say yes when actually it's a no for you. So it's a boundaries issue. You don't want to let people down, and you're afraid of what people might think of you. Number Sign number three is that you might find yourself procrastinating a lot. So you want to start that business, you want to get a new job, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start next week. Oh man, you'll always find a reason not to do it. There'll always be lots of reasons not to go for what you want. Oh, you don't have the money, or on and on. I'm too young, I'm too old. Lots of reasons to procrastinate. And you might also find yourself, this kind of related one, you might also find yourself being very indecisive. So, not able to make a decision. Even something simple, Twix or Mars bar. Oh my God, it's like an existential crisis. Remember, I used to be like that, not just with decisions, life and death decisions, or decisions about career, important decisions, but simple decisions seemed really hard too. Um, so really difficult to take action. You've got this belief system that fear isn't possible for you, and that fear. So there's a fear of the future there underneath this. Then the next one, you end up saying no to things that could change your life. So this is again back to the limitation. You feel like really, really, really want to change things, but you've got this limiting belief that it can't change. And you're more afraid of the uncertainty of what might happen than the comfort of where you are in this stuckness, in this kind of fear-based reality where you might be doing a job you like, you might feel very unsatisfied, but at least there's security there. At least there's a sense that you know exactly what's happening on a day to day basis. So, security is really important, and you say no to things that could maybe change that. So, you're kind of addicted to security, and that prevents you from reaching out and doing new things. So you end up saying no to things that could change your life. Sign number five, you avoid speaking up for yourself. So you might find somebody says something to you, and you are afraid to kind of speak up and say your mind. So this is a self-esteem issue. You don't want to be too, you're kind of hiding a little bit. Um, you're afraid to say your mind, or what my feelings aren't as good as what someone else thinks. So you don't speak up for yourself, and then you can build up resentment towards other people as well as towards yourself for that failure to speak up. So we can project it out at other people. Number six is that you could find yourself being quite the control freak. You want to keep things in order. This can manifest in lots of different ways, by the way. So it's not just a case of everything has to be so precise. You want to keep everything in order. This kind of relates to the addiction to security. You might be perfectionist with yourself. You have to get all this good grades, and if you don't get good grades, you're beating yourself up all the time. You have to prove that you're enough, and also it can lead to a place where you find it really, really difficult to let go and surrender. So you're a control freak. You can be controlling in your body. Um, Unable to let go and relax. So there's a constant kind of tension there. Sign number seven is that you may find that you numb yourself. So you kind of you're in a life that you don't that's not really aligned with your passion, your purpose. So there's a underneath it all, there is a sense this is not what you want. So you have to kind of numb those feelings down in order to get through the day, and you might do it through food, overeating, eating unhealthy food, fatty food, or whatever, alcohol, maybe sex. You're going out there and having lots of sex, or you use sex to kind of soothe yourself, or masturbation as well is another one, or maybe like internet addiction. So you keep yourself pacified on Facebook or watching cat videos, just so that you don't think about your life and you don't think too much, too deeply about how unhappy you are underneath it all. Um, and also, this numbness can come through in avoidance. So I remember years ago, I went to a talk and she was talking about how anorexia are just anorexics are overeaters, but they're super in control. And that's what an avoidant pattern is like. That they're also control freaks. They're like, oh, I can't do this I, I because I have to control. I have to stay where I am. So there's a lack of trust there. Like I talked about before, you're not trusting life, you're not trusting others, and more importantly, you're not trusting yourself to make the right decision. Because when you trust yourself, everything else falls into place. When you trust yourself, everything else, you can trust life, you can trust other people because you trust your judgment. Then you're not blaming other people for not being trustworthy. You recognize, right, that's on me. I didn't make that good decision. And you learn to trust yourself. That's when it all changes. And finally, reason factor number 6 that you might find is that you might find that you are very anxious. You might be very stressed out all the time, and that can manifest in kind of lots of people who are very anxious and very stressed out all the time. It can manifest in like a lot of sickness. Maybe you get sick all the time, or so maybe it's just kind of a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress in the body. It can manifest in lots of different ways. So you might get sick, right? You might get the flu, get anything that's going around. Some people, they go through their whole lives, they never get a flu jab, then they don't get sick in the winter. And some people, they get every single thing that's going around. What's the difference between those two people? So now we have our 8 signs: striving, never arriving, say yes when you mean no, procrastinating and indecision, saying no to things that could change your life, avoid speaking up for yourself, being a control freak, numbing yourself, and having a lot of anxiety, stress that can manifest in a physical illness. So, ways to combat this and start living a life that's going to be less fear based and more moving in the direction of what you want, moving in the direction of pleasure, moving in the direction of surrender and letting go and trust and stepping into your passion and your purpose. So, ways that you can do this, I've got 4 kind of tips for you. The first one is to start keeping a gratitude journal. And on one of my lives, maybe last week or a few weeks ago, I talked about the 5-minute journal. So it's just a journal where in the morning you think about your 3 things that you're grateful for, and in the evening you think about 3 things that you're grateful for as well. This can kind of help you key in to a positive note in the morning and also in the evening, so that when you recognize the good things that are happening in your life, you're open to new things coming in. So gratitude is a really big one. Second one is to start some form of meditation. So when you are living in fear, your mind is like running everything. Your mind, and it's out of control. It's like the proverbial drunken monkey. And it's just running on terror. You're running on this. So you got to train that. You got to train that drunken monkey, get him off the booze, and start meditating, start training your mind for what you do want, rather than this constant living on fear, and your mind, constant mind chatter. When you train your mind using some kind of meditation practice, that's when you can find your peace. You can step into who you really are, your higher self, and you can get all of those intuitions, the voices that say, go left, don't go right, and you're not listening to that voice of anxiety that's just afraid of what can happen, afraid of the future, and afraid of change. That voice will never lead you in a good direction. When you are living in fear, you that's the way to know if it's the voice of your intuition or if it's the voice of your mind. Is it like a voice of fear, or is it a voice of love? Is it moving you in a more loving direction? The third thing is to start questioning your beliefs. And I posted something on on Facebook a few weeks ago about how don't believe everything that you think, and this is so true. And I think it's so easy to fall into this trap where any thought that you think in your head, you identify with it. Oh, I'm stupid. And you immediately think, oh my God, yes, I'm not enough, I'm not intelligent. You start identifying with that thought rather than recognizing that it's just a thought. It's not who you are. It's just something. It's like a cloud in the sky floating past. It's not you. It's just a thought. So when we start identifying with our thoughts, that's when things can really go majorly haywire. So start questioning your beliefs. Don't believe everything that you think. And my final tip is to find some kind of support with someone who can help you to shift your mindset, shift your mentality. So it's all very easy when you are living in fear to continue with it, and it actually seems like it's the only thing to do. It seems like there is no other way. It seems like you are stuck there. This is another sign that you're living in fear. You might feel stuck. So if you're living in fear, it creates the illusion that you can't change. So find support, find someone who can help you. Look at your belief systems and start uncovering what's really going on there, so that you're not trying to do it all on your own, which can be really tough. And it can be, you sometimes you need that external someone to mirror, so that you're not just going around around in circles in your head. It's useful to have a board, someone else that can see things that maybe you're not seeing in yourself. So find some support, someone who can help you question your beliefs, someone who can help find what those underlying belief systems are, which are probably going to be something about worthiness, something about not being good enough, something about not being able to change, doesn't work out for me. These are the kind of bottom beliefs that I typically find in people who are feeling this way and who are running their lives out of fear. So if you recognized yourself in many of the 8 things that I mentioned, just take some time today to think about that, and think about, is this what you want for your life? Do you want your life to be all about running from fear and living from that fear? And let's face it, this is where most people in the world are. They're living in fear, particularly now. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. There's an epidemic of fear right now, and people are living in fear. And when you're living from fear, you're not necessarily making hugely rational decisions. It's not like the best place to make decisions from. So when you are making decisions, you can start asking yourself, is this coming from a place of fear, or is this actually an empowering decision? Is this something that's going to move me forward? So you can start asking yourself those questions. And awareness is the first step to change. You've got to become aware that this is where you're at and this is not where you want to be anymore. You've got to make that decision to change, and then start with those steps that I talked about. Gratitude, start some kind of meditation practice, and start questioning your beliefs. Start shining the light of consciousness on those negative beliefs, and find someone who can support you with that. So I hope that was useful for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, do leave them down below. And like I say, if you find yourself living in a place of fear, and you are, that there's a lot more for you, you have a vision of what that is, do reach out to me, because I'm offering free 15-minute calls right now to people who really know there's more for them, have a vision of what that is, but are holding themselves back with all of these fears, doubts, self-sabotage because of underlying trauma and negative belief systems, limiting beliefs that hold them back from fully stepping into and realizing their potential. So I would love to hear from you, and do comment down below. And if you're watching this on YouTube as well, please subscribe to my channel. And have a great day, everyone, and I will talk to you later.